Hello, thank you so much for joining me. I'm Andrew Weens with the Trinity family, and we're here in the third week of our series talking about the predictors of future success. And we're on number 2 of that list. And the second trait that best predicts future success of children is conscientiousness, a sense of self-awareness and a capacity to manage ourselves from that awareness. And there's 2 things that I want to encourage you to begin to implement for your kids, whether you're at home or in the education field. And the first of those is solitude. Create a space every day for kids to be alone and to be still and not to be stimulated. So we're not talking about giving them an iPad and sending them, we're talking about just to be by themselves. Because a conscientiousness comes from it takes time to become aware. And in our very, very busy schedules, when kids move from getting ready for school, to going to extracurricular activities, to doing homework, to going to bed, for so many kids, they don't ever stop, and thus they don't ever become aware of themselves. And it can only happen in times of solitude. So schedule it in, make sure it happens, because when it doesn't, what happens is a healthy sense of conscientiousness becomes an unhealthy sense of introspection. And because I haven't taken the time to get to know myself, address my weaknesses, I just feel them. I feel them in the ways that I interact with the world, and so then I begin to micromanage them, and I become very aware of myself when I'm out with people, but it's from fear, and it's freezing and immobilizing. It creates anxiety, and I don't like myself because I haven't taken the time or been given the space to just sit with myself. So solitude. And then the second thing is to give feedback to kids. We all need feedback about what we're getting, but I want to challenge you to give it with 2 critical words, and they're the words I notice. So if a kid's having a fit, saying something like, I notice you're frustrated. Maybe you invite them to tell you about it. Or if a kid looks very sad, say, I notice you're looking a little sad. If a kid does great at something, they just triumph, they hit 5 3-pointers in a row, say, man, I noticed you made those shots. But the I notice in all of those things, it simply points back to the kid and says, this is what I'm seeing. Let's dialogue about it. What that does is it gives language to children to diagnose those things that they're feeling inside of them, those things that they're experiencing. But it also avoids creating this unhealthy praise cycle, or the opposite of praise, of fear cycle. And so what happens with so many adults is when I'm a bad kid, I get fearful adult, and when I'm a really good kid, I get praise, and so I begin to work for those 2 things. But if we just notice both unhealthy and healthy behaviors, and then create that space, it just helps kids get that feedback loop they need to become more aware of themselves. And when we pair it with solitude, we're going to raise kids who are conscientious, aware of themselves, and able to manage themselves in the world. So thanks so much for doing that. Have a great day today. Goodbye.